Oh, it's so good to see you all. Yay. Yay. I was in Kansas City last Sunday. They hired me. They flew me out there. They paid for me to stay at the Sheraton. And and then I got to speak on Sunday and do a workshop. And then on Monday, they flew me back. So it was a really quick trip to Kansas City, but I really enjoyed it. The community was wonderful. They have about 200 people on a Sunday, and it's really nice. One thing that I didn't realize when I was starting ministerial school is whenever you start ministerial school, and you become a minister and then you become a senior minister, you don't go anywhere on Sunday to get your spiritual inspiration. You are the spiritual inspiration. And I was like, wait a second, where am I going to get my spiritual food? And then I also, I had this opportunity of being a community member where I could go to different centers and I could try things out, right? Well, whenever I'm speaking, I can't exactly do that. So this is a really great opportunity for me to go see another center and see what they do and see their traditions and how they welcome people and how they make each and every person feel like they're part of the community. So it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. And I had a lot of fun. They're just as magnificent as you are. I was like, oh, we're everywhere. Centers, the amazing people are everywhere. Yes. And so I was really happy. Of course, I did miss you. And I do have a big thing in my heart for all of you. So I'm a little bit more biased actually for this center. But don't tell anybody, okay? I know. I am kind of in love with everybody who's here. So if you didn't know, we skipped the dating part and I just fell right in love. Yeah. So I'm really enjoying myself, and I'm loving this month. I love this month. We're talking about service this month. We're talking about the global vision. So every month this year, we've been talking about the global vision at Centers for Spiritual Living. And Centers for Spiritual Living is global. And we came out with a global theme, which we hadn't done in the past. This is the first year we've ever done that. And our global theme is about a global vision, about creating a world that works for everyone, which is kind of a big concept to try and chew on. So each month we have different aspects that we're focusing on creating a world that works for everyone. And this month we're focusing on service. So I have a pop quiz for you. Okay, are you ready? All right. What is the difference between a thriving and healthy community and a community that is declining and languishing? What's the difference? Integrity. Communication, yeah. Love, enthusiasm, energy, commitment to service. Yeah, connection. And it's interesting. I love those two. All of these kind of tie into what? Love. They tie into love, and they tie into service. So each community member steps into service, and that's what creates the energy. That's what creates the enthusiasm. I don't know. I think you just need to come with the integrity. But each person causes the whole community to thrive. If I were doing this community by myself, it would not be a thriving community. It would be a languishing community. So in order to make a community thrive, it's not just me. It takes every single person who's in your chair, wherever you are. It takes you taking responsibility to participate in the community. And Now I have a question about the love. So what do you do when you love somebody or something? What do you do? You nurture it. You care for it. Yeah. What did you say, Vance? You serve it. You serve those you love. Yeah. You value it, yeah. Mm-hmm. Trust. You trust. Yeah, you trust each other. Yeah. You listen. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. You connect. Exactly. You what?
You want the best for those you love.
You want the best for those you love. Absolutely. Well, for me, I know that I'm in this relationship with my wife, Gina, and I love and adore her. And there's things that I do because I love her. For instance, every morning I wake up at 5:30 in the morning and I make her lunch and I send her off to work with her lunch. And let me tell you, I'm sure she could tell you, I am not a morning person. This is an act of love and devotion. And I do it because it's true. I do love her. And I want us to be successful. We're on this eating plan where we're eating very healthy food, but it requires a lot of prep. And it requires both of us pitching in certain areas. For instance, this morning she made me breakfast. So every Sunday morning, my whole job is to just get ready. That's my whole job. Get ready. She'll serve me breakfast. And so in our relationship, we have this give and take where I love her, and so I do things that support her and her success, and then she does things for me that support me and my success. So what acts of service do you do for those you love? Give me some. You wash dishes. You know what? I just started washing dishes. And it's also because I love Gina so much. And we don't have a dishwasher yet. Oh. What else do you do for those you love? Yeah. Yeah, cooking dinner at the end of a long day. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, with my grandchildren, who I love, I try to give them my time and me.
You give your grandchildren your time and just being present with them. Yeah.
I listen.
You listen, yeah. Uh-huh.
I give him space to go do what makes his heart full.
Yeah, you give your partner space to what makes their heart full. Yeah. Give him my presence. Yeah. So just presents or presents. Both are good. Both are good. Yeah. Well, I have a question, and I think I know the answer to this. Do you love this community?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I love this community too. And so that's why I'm talking about being in service, because as I love this community, I'm in service to this community. And as you love this community, I invite you to step into service into this community. Because being in service of others is an expression of love. That's how we express our love, is we express service, right? I mean, there's also other ways of expressing your love, but one of the great ways of expressing your love, especially in community, is service. Ernest Holmes said, service is the keynote to success and implies constructive work. Also, loyalty to your work and all concerned with it. He also said that love is self-givingness through creation, the impartation of the divine through the human. So when you are giving your acts of service, you're being godly. You're stepping into what that divine nature is. That's when you're being the most authentic, truest aspect of the divine, is whenever you are acting in service. And it's beautiful to see that. I really love Edward Fillion. He's the minister at Santa Rosa. He's a great minister and a mentor of mine too. One of my many mentors. I pick the best, just so you know. He has this story from a workshop that he gave called Circulation. And at the Dead Sea in 1980, there was a particular rainy water which reduced the salinity of the body of water by 5%. Now the Dead Sea is dead because it's very there's nothing that can live in it. And the water it's completely void of any life form. So that's why they call it the Dead Sea. But this one particular winter where it rained a whole bunch, then the salinity of the water changed by 5%. Just 5%. And it was really interesting because it brought up this bacteria, and the bacteria was red. And so all of a sudden, with this slight change, the whole Dead Sea turned bright red because this bacteria was flourishing in the Dead Sea. And so the beauty of this is that it's a good example of how just a little movement is required for a massive effect. So think about how that much, just 5%. So you serving just 5% could make a huge difference in this community and make a huge difference in the world. What if you serve 5% here, 5% in the global world? I mean, how much? And if we all participated in that at the same time, what kind of effect could we make on the world? So the interesting part of this is not that you have to give up your life, be a pauper and only take care of others. It means that you devote a portion of your time to others, and you devote a portion of your time to the global community, and you devote a portion of your time to yourself too, which is also very important. Serving yourself is highly important. People forget about that when they are serving. So I wonder what would happen to this community if everybody pitched in just a little bit more. I wonder where we could create together. I want to encourage you to take on a ministry. One thing that I've noticed about the world is that I believe that we're in a crisis. We're in an identity crisis. I grew up in a world where I thought I was separate from the world. And I'm recognizing, and I've known this, I learned this whenever I first walked into my first Center for Spiritual Living, is that we talk about how we're all interconnected, and we're not separate from each other. We're all connected to each other, and everything is interdependent on each other. And this is becoming more and more apparent as science is realizing that the whole world is all interconnected. And as we're witnessing right now a mass extinction in species, there's kind of an awakening that's happening on how everything that we're doing, from the little things of throwing trash away to how we eat our food to how we vote, all of that is affecting the entire globe. And while we're in this crisis, we're also at a choice point of what can we do to shift it so that it actually doesn't die off and we kill ourselves, which is a real possibility. But there's also a real possibility that we shift and change who we are. We step into these global community members, and we serve our local community and our global communities and our bodies in a way that everybody is taken care of. And that's what creating a world that works for everyone is about. It's about everything I do, I think about how is this affecting everybody else? If I'm going to be throwing food in the trash can, am I throwing it in the trash or the recycling or the compost? And I think about those little acts every day, and those things make a difference. Because if we're all doing that, then it makes a shift in this global community so that we can support each other. Maybe I'll commute by bicycle, or maybe I'll commute by bus, maybe I'll commute, or maybe I'll carpool with people. And as we think about how can we contribute to the world in a successful way, then those little actions start adding up. And while a bunch of species are going on extinction, there's other species that were on extinction that are coming back. They're flourishing now because there's part of us that are walking forward unconsciously, and then the other part of us are waking up to who we really are, recognizing that we're all interconnected in this global community. In this book, which you are going to hear about, Spiritual Ecology, which is there are a whole bunch of essays. They're really easy. They're all like 1 or 2 pages, but they're from our foremost thinkers in our time right now. Thich Nhat Hanh, Joanna Macy, Sandra Ingerman. So if you might know some of these, you might not, but they're really amazing essays. And in one of the essays, it says, the global ecological crisis is also the defining spiritual crisis of the human species. We are being challenged as a species to grow up or get out of the way. Our old social patterns our old social patterns have pitted personal well-being against that of others. The self-interest of this nation state still supersedes that collective well-being of humanity, as every global summit that purports to be concerned with humanity's future confirms. Meanwhile, A new reality of ecological overshoot exposes how radically interdependent we are with the whole living world. All kinds of old stories of our separation from the natural world have brought us to where we are now. And that's by John Stanley and David Loy, who one is a Buddhist ecologist and one of them is a Zen master. Now, this all makes great sense on what I'm seeing in the world, but it doesn't mean that the world is going to, it doesn't mean that. It means that we have an opportunity now to make a difference. It's like it is our wake-up call. This is our wake-up call to be ourselves, to be our authentic, joyful, loving, giving, serving selves that we can be. So I want to encourage you to recognize that one of the simple expressions of love is sharing yourself with others. Our time, talent, and treasures are serving others. And service is free, right? It's free. It's something that we can give. We don't have to be rich to serve. We don't have to have any station in life to serve. No matter who we are, we all have the ability to share our gifts to the world and to others in this community. So I want to encourage you to think about, well, what is my ministry? What am I going to take on? You don't have to be a minister to have a ministry, by the way. You don't. Everybody can have a ministry. Everybody can step into service in a way in the world that not only serves yourself, but it serves the world in a way that causes you to light up and be grateful that you can serve in this manner. Now, I'm going to play the what if game just for a minute. So what if here there were a gratitude ministry whose only job was to write thank you notes to people in the community and thank them for all they did? I know, right? What if? Or what if there were a greeting ministry whose sole job was to be a welcoming and loving presence to each and every person who walked through those doors? Now, I know that we as a community, we just do that naturally. That's who we are. But what if there were some people who were designated to be at the door to make sure no matter who walks in those doors, they don't get left behind or they don't feel like they're in this awkward, weird place, which is how I feel when I go to a new place, right? They feel like there's somebody who wants to usher them in, tell them where the bathrooms are, help them figure things out on what's going on in this community. What if there was a stewardship ministry whose whole passion was to steward all of those people who gave us money for our constant success? Or what if we had a home and hospital visit ministry? I have a little story about one of our community members, Jana. Jana recently threw her back out and she was out cold for a month. Like really could not move, could not work, could not do anything, could not get up and cook herself food. Now her partner is a member of, they're both members of the Jewish community. And in the Jewish community, they have this tradition called Bikur Holim. And it's a tradition where whoever you are, your job in the world is to care for the sick. And so their Jewish community went and brought her food and took care of them while she was out. I mean, that is cool. I was like, oh, that's such an inspiration. I felt so grateful that one of our community members was taken care of by a whole nother community. Like, how sweet is that? And what if there was something like that in our community too? Or what if we had a membership ministry where we all had people calling in and checking in on the members and finding out what's going on in their life? Or what if there was a water ministry where people took home the water bottles and filled them up with filtered water and then blessed the water before we all drank it, right? So it's what if? There's so much that we can do with this community. And what I really recognize is that a lot of us forget that it's so easy to do just a little thing here and a little thing there because we get caught up in our busy lives. But sometimes the busy lives get us too busy from being ourselves. And when I serve and I step into service and I take time out of my busy life to serve, I recognize that I'm more myself. I feel better about myself. And I love myself more. So I want to encourage you to think about what can you do to support this community? What can you do to support this world? because each and every one of us is important. Each and every life is valuable. There's a story I really love. I think I've told it here before, but maybe you weren't here that Sunday. So I'm going to tell it again. There was a guy who was walking along a beach. And there was an older man observing him. And as this guy was walking along the beach, he was picking up a starfish. He was throwing it in the ocean. And he was walking and he's picking up another starfish and throwing it in the ocean. And the older gentleman said, "What are you doing, sir?" And he said, "Well, the sun is going really high, the tide is coming out, and the starfish are going to die on the beach." And the old man looked down the beach, and there was just hundreds of starfish. And he said, "Well, why are you even trying? There's hundreds of starfish. You can't save them all. You can't do it." And the guy looked at him, and he went down, picked up a starfish, threw it in the water, and he said, "Well, it mattered to that one. It made a difference for that one." So even if you can't save the whole entire world, your action makes a difference for one person. And since we're all interconnected, that one action does have an impact on everybody. So I want to encourage you this week to think about, what can you do to step into service? How do you want to experience the world? How do you want to share who you are with the world? And what is one thing that you can do to share yourself with the world this week? Maybe what is one person that you can uplift and support this week? We're going to have an opportunity later on today of signing up, because we're invested at this center. Our leadership council has been focusing on creating a community where everybody steps into service. And the reason why we do that is because of that big idea of the world. While one aspect of the world, everything is deteriorating, and another aspect of the world, everything is lifting everybody up. We want to participate in that aspect of the world. We want to create a culture where everybody who walks in the door, they want to serve because they realize every action that they make has an impact on everybody else. And so I'm invested in that kind of world. Are you invested in that kind of world? I want to be an uplifter. Yes. Who's in for being an uplifter? Yeah. Woo! Thank you. I'm going to do that too. Thank you. And so it is. Let's pray. I'm so grateful to know that I am here in this space of this magnificent community. A community of laughter, of light, of joy, where we are authentic and real and divine. I know and claim that each and every one of us is part of that aspect of God, aspect of the universal spirit, aspect of the universal essence, where that creativity, the joy, the love, the power, the grace shines through each and every one of us. And so I claim that for myself today. I know and claim that as I step into service, as I serve each and every person I come in contact with, that I am uplifted and inspired myself just by giving of what I have to give. I'm so grateful to know that I make an impact on this world by who I am. And I know that each and every community member here today is that impact, that we create waves of transformation, waves of possibility, waves of new ideas, waves of creation, creating a new world that works for everybody. And so I know and claim that as I do my one or two things here and there, that each and every person in this community does the same, and something as a result of what happened here today, something shifts and changes, and we get the reflection back to us that we've made a difference, that something has made an impact in this community, in this world. And so I'm so grateful to know that God is responsible for the big aspect, and I'm only responsible for who I am and how I show up in the world. And so I give great thanks and appreciation for knowing that I am a divine aspect of that service. I am the hands and arms of God on this human plane. And so I declare that I am in tune with the right and perfect expression so that I can be of most service to the world. I'm so grateful to know that for myself and for each and every person here. And I'm so grateful to know that it's easy and effortless, that it's fun, that who I am, that the gifts that I have to share are a joy to share with the world. And I love it. And so I just say, thank you, God, for this truth. Thank you for this expressing through each and every one of us. I let this go. Let it be. And so it is.
So it